This is Let's Talk D2C. Oops, already starting off in the wrong step here. Let's go to this one. Are you AR? Let's Talk D2C. And if you don't know who we and what we do, my name is Sandy. We're coming to you live from Brazil, and joined by my partner in Indonesia. How you doing today, Vincent?
Doing great. Actually, right now I'm in Singapore.
You're in Singapore. That's right. That's right. Just to get you're enjoying the Singapore weather. You're having some crazy weather going on there right now. Yeah. It's,
Not exactly the weather, but the air condition, the air pollution.
pollution. That's nice.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry to hear it, but was it a fire or something going on?
yeah. It's a fire actually in Indonesia, in one of the islands in Indonesia, forest fires, and the wind is blowing it this way.
Is that a seasonal thing? I know that here in Brazil, we're freaking out because we've had fire, increase of like 83%. But is that like a seasonal thing for you? Or
Yeah, I think so. The fire is not like um because it's dry or anything. It's because like part of the I believe it's part of the like the agricultural season. When they want
okay.
to clear out the thing, they just burn it off.
Control burns then, yeah.
Well, and it got out of control, I guess.
Oh, wow. Oops.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's every year it happens, almost
yeah.
every year.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
at least it's not like sort of not out of control, but a little bit. Anyways, not much going on in the world of D2C, where we again talk about how to better build relationships with your audience through engagement, through conversation, through and education. All those things that really the mom and pops of yesterday used to do with connecting with our audiences. That's where we're trying to get you back to, because that's what people want these days. Yes, e-commerce is an amazing tool, and then people can make money, massive amounts of money worldwide. But gone are those days where you can just create an email list and expect people to just buy, because firstly, people aren't checking their emails anymore. I mean, open rate. What's the open rate for emails these days?
About 10 to 20%.
10%.
10 to 20, yeah.
Yeah, that's still pretty high to me, but still with the relationship building process that we have in place, we typically, especially because it's not about sales, it's about conversations, about creating relationships. We typically see about 80% open rate, and be blunt, we use messengers, we use bots, and it's all about just being able to have those customized, categorized conversations with your audience. And it's really beginning with having the right way to communicate what they're looking for when they end up on your site, or your Facebook page, or inside your social media platform. So, and the keyword there is social media. So, just briefly before we get too far into what we're going to be doing today, which we're going to really give a lot of attention, per usual, to our store speak critique. I think, what's the store we're going to be talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about bicycle store here that we come across, and it's a direct to consumer um, product
Cool.
brand, and I think it's quite interesting. They have a few different products, and we'll talk about it later on.
Okay, awesome. So that's what we're going to be digging more into today. Along with that, we will be sharing with you, um, doing a demo, um, it- of that store, using how to create those relationships with a messenger bot on your Facebook page. But we like to dig into other stuff, talking about on a regular basis. We share with you what's going on in the world of e-commerce. Sometimes we talk about Libra. Sometimes we talk about Amazon. Sometimes we talk about Shopify. And we also like to give you information how to connect with your audience audience when it comes to the number one platform for engagement, and that is Instagram and other platforms like WhatsApp and Messenger and IG, of course. All of those messaging platforms are merging for good reason. Everyone knows that messaging is where you're going to get in front of your audience, which is why it's a primary focus for us is messengers and those messenger platforms. So let's see. Before we get to into any of that, oh, also we like to sometimes when we get an opportunity or find something that's very interesting to you, we know that you need to be putting yourself in a place of being able to outpace your competition, be more interesting and more engaging to your buyer's journey. And the one thing that is growing by leaps and bounds, and I think it's going to be quite the sales. I think we're going to see a lot of sales in AR this year with the Oculus goggles and virtual reality, all that kind of good stuff. But you don't need to have the goggles. But we're seeing things like, for instance, IKEA has it where I can take my phone and I can place their items, whether it be a blender or a couch. I can set it inside of my room. I think if you've got to get to the place where you're creating those kind of user experiences. You can do it from an app. You can take your item, whatever you have, and take several different pictures of it in different angles, and you can make that an AR item. So when we find news like that that's very interesting to you, we'd like to share that as well with you as well. As well. So first thing is, let's see. I kind of came across some information about Libra, and it's not real earth shattering, other than the fact that they are still struggling with the regulatory aspects of getting it approved. So, um, so what I came across was that Libra has, before they came out, had talked to like a lot of, well, e-commerce type organizations, and especially in the UK, about and trying to get them to come on board with their approach or their
Mhm.
product. So bottom line is Libra is still kind of on the outs when it comes to the regulatory bodies of the world, allowing them to disrupt the financial world, if you will. They feel it's still a threat to the world economy. So, but the point I'm trying to make is that before they came out with their announcement, they really had done some lobbying to some really world renowned organizations in terms of financing, and they are basically still not feeling that they feel safe having Libra as part of the um, global economy on a financial perspective. So again, that's just a little bit of news. Just we like to keep you updated on the things that are of interest to you economically. Do we feel that Libra is never going to launch? I don't feel that way at all. I feel that eventually they're going to figure it out, and they're working very hard to gain the confidence of the financial world, um, and that's just where they are. So again, it's not much to report on them, but I think it's important to stay on top of where they are. I don't think that they're going to go away ever. I think that it's just a number of hurdles they need to go, or hoops they need to jump through to appease and to make people feel comfortable about what they're doing, and that's it. I mean, I just feel like they are, still in the game. It's just, again, it comes down to lobbying if people feel better. And it's like anything, when you practice or you get on a new software or something, it's very uncomfortable at first. You're like, I should go back to what I was doing. But I think that's where we are with Libra. It's the same thing, that same where place we were with privacy. Yeah. It used to be that we had a diary and we put everything down in our diary and we didn't want people to read it. Now you go on Facebook and everything is public. There's no privacy anymore. So I think Libra is not going anywhere. That's my point.
Yep.
So outside of that, there hasn't really a lot going on. There was a little bit of kind of groundbreaking news with Amazon that I discovered, and nothing saying, but in the sense that, and this is opening up to the idea that um, something that's typically considered a controlled substance. Um, uh, it's not Amazon, but Shopify actually. Shopify is allowing um, vendors to sell uh, CBD. Are you familiar with CBD there, Vincent?
Not really. I just know it like just really briefly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
I saw that news as well.
so you kind of know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're not familiar with what CBD is, it is basically um, a byproduct or the main ingredient of marijuana.
Hmm.
So what people are doing is you don't get high off of it per se, um, and that means it's you're not able to. It's not like a drug where it's altering your mindset like smoking weed. Um, but it does allow you to. It's kind of calming element to it. So I'm trying to find the article that I came across here about it. But my point is that it is, to me, it's a step in the direction of. I mean, you weren't able to really advertise it inside of Facebook because they consider it a controlled substance. Even in the UK, when I was living there, they had kind of rolled back the idea of letting ordinary person per se, outside of pharmaceuticals, to sell this. And this was there was a lot of people, holistic healers, if you will, that were selling this and making great money, as a matter of fact. But in the UK, they decided that it was a controlled substance and they weren't going to allow it to be sold there anymore. So now that Shopify has opened the doors to retailers selling it there, um, to me, that's saying a lot. That's saying that um, that other retailers are going to follow suit, or other um, networks, if you will, social networks are going to probably see the value and open up to it as well. So, not earth-shattering news, but um, if you are someone who's into holistic healing and you're a direct to consumer, this is a huge product, and in any country,
Hmm.
even here in Brazil, and when I was in Hawaii, it was sitting on the countertop where I could pick it up, CBD. And again, it's kind of, I mean, it's amazing, quite honestly, in terms of helping you to just be relaxed without getting high. So this is a major, major step in the consumer marketplace, and there's a big market for people who are direct to consumer. Um, there's a number, especially in the U.S., a number of CBD distributions, which you can I mean, those distribution outlets can go direct to customer instead of now creating those relationships with retailers. So my point is that this is huge for this product, and anyone who's in that space, and for Shopify to see that it's okay to have something like this on the marketplace. Um, that's a big step, whereas it was kind of a taboo Like even I'm not seeing this advertised anywhere on Facebook. Um, and it'd be interesting to see if anyone can advertise this on Facebook still. I mean, Facebook's advertising
Yeah,
very strict.
yeah.
So, anyways, enough about that. You have something that you wanted to share about the fashion
Yeah.
industry. So let's go
You sure
to,
not?
yeah, I'm seeing it. So just the direct to consumer growth. So,
Yeah. Basically, it's a high-end women fashion. There's this designer here, which I believe is pretty huge in the fashion world,
mhm,
and it just launched a new direct-to-consumer brand. So that's pretty interesting, I think, because I believe that's where everybody's headed. Everybody's headed towards direct-to-consumer because um, it benefits everybody basically because the end users they get the benefit of cheaper cheaper cost and the same quality, if not better quality of products.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's talking about the price here. This is just one of the article. I actually saw at least three articles talking about this exact news. So I'm pretty sure that this guy is pretty big.
Mhm.
So this is what the site looks like. It's very image heavy, and right now we're doing a live stream. Is really slow, but it's really image heavy. This website. So I'm not sure if even if I'm not live streaming, it might they might it might load slower than other sites. But I mean, I get it that they are a fashion brand. Everything is all on the image. Yeah, you see. Yeah, pretty much is pretty straightforward site. I think they're only selling four of this design so far
Mhm.
since they just launched.
Uh-huh.
And pretty much interesting to see what develops. I'm sure there are other brands that's gonna follow suit here.
Yeah. I mean, well, it only makes sense, but it is competitive. I mean, there are a number of competitive markets that we're talking about. And again, the whole idea is to kind of stimulate people's thinking when it comes to, their whatever vertical they're in. But and especially you have to find a strategic advantage. So, if that is quality and price, that is D2C as a whole. So how else are you going to distinguish yourself? I mean, it's not at some point it's going to be more than just how do I outpace retailers. At some point it's got to be how do I stand out against the market, which is all D2C potentially. I mean, it only makes sense to lower the cost of goods by cutting out the middleman. So a lot of manufacturers, a lot of people are like, a lot of people are, working directly with the material supplier, and they manage the whole process from getting the materials to delivery. So that's what D2C really is. So yeah, what makes, I mean, there's some nice designs there, that helps, to stand out. But now you can deliver good quality and good
Yeah,
cost.
well, I mean, at the end of the day, you still need to still need to provide quality products, whether regardless whether you're direct to consumer or not.
Say that again.
Regardless whether you're direct to consumer or not, you still need to deliver quality products
Yeah,
to
yeah,
long-term customers.
yeah, exactly. So, cool. So briefly, I want to share this with about it's an article that is talking about what traditional retailers learn from D2C brands.
Mm-hmm.
Um, have you seen that article?
Nope, not yet.
Okay, this is on our more site that we are really quite pleased to learn about and trying to create a relationship with, called D2C Daily. They pretty much like to focus on, what's what DDCs have been funded, and they do some amazing articles as well. So we want to share this for two reasons. First reason being that we want to make sure that you are aware of this source. And They always have amazing news here. So the article that's here is basically about a CRM service, and they talk about how they seamlessly communicate through email, voice, messenger, Twitter, WhatsApp. You know, and this is going to be more so the channels that people are really relying on mostly. You and I had a conversation yesterday about SMS, and I was thinking, based on the tool that we use, and we had to stop and think for a minute. How many text messages do you get on your phone? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, we want to just kind of raise your ideas to where things are moving to, is moving into messaging, and this is based on again a CRM platform that is seamlessly able to communicate um, through these platforms. But it's also talking about the competitive edge over traditional brands. So I'm not going to read this article. We always post everything we share here. We post on our Facebook page. But this is a good read, as you can see from different titles here. That you want to spend a few minutes reading through this and understanding. Again, what we try and do here is help you to just kind of stimulate your creative juices by looking outside of your vertical and what others are doing. So again, I'm not going to read through this. I kind of gave you an overview, but mostly the main point here is, what D2C brands are doing that's better than what traditional brands are doing. So yeah, I will be posting this inside of our Facebook page, and you can read that article at your leisure.
Cool.
So that's enough about that. Are we ready to jump into, since we didn't have a whole lot of news today, and there's just really
Mm-hmm.
not a lot going on, to our store speak critique? Is that what we're ready to go to?
Yep.
Oh, cool. All right.
So this is the store that we came across. Actually, we found this from that D2C Daily directory, and they are basically a bicycle shop. And what's interesting is that they are they attack the consumer. I guess that's why it interests us because we're
Yeah.
all about attacking the consumer. And so here they have four different products. I mean, the website is pretty straightforward, and they have four different models here for different purposes. And when I saw this, like, not sure what's best for you, like, take run through our guided bicycle finder. But when I click on this, it doesn't come up anything for me. So I'm not sure, is it supposed to what's supposed to happen. So it's
I'm sure
I'm
something's supposed to
it's
happen.
supposed
Yeah.
to help something, but yeah, I don't see how this is supposed to help me find a bicycle.
Yeah. And
So well,
that's their lead magnet. That's a problem.
yeah.
So if that's their lead magnet, everyone should have something that they're having some kind of engagement or some way to get people into their funnel. And typically it's collecting emails, yeah.
Hmm.
So whatever what this is supposed to be doing isn't working.
Well, yeah, of course, it's it leads to I don't know what is this. I believe it's just a homepage. It brings me back to the homepage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see where does this go. Okay, this just goes back to the product page. So there's really not much going on. It's just like product page, homepage. Let's see
So
the
are these
options.
three different bike types? Are these like, they look like city bikes, like around town kind of bikes, not like, but do they have other bikes like, off-road bikes?
Not I think for now it's just this font. So interesting here that they have several delivery options. One that you can assemble yourself, and another one that you can get one of their partners to fix it up.
Ah,
That's pretty interesting.
okay.
I mean, we see quite a few of those for like furniture. I think many people that sell furniture they also sell those kind of service, and I believe they call it a white glove service. So like they bring it up all the way to where you want to place it and then set it all up. So this is like a pretty good upsell like after you sell the product.
Mhm.
They also have financing here, and not sure whether they are doing the financing or they have another partner that does the financing for them. It's oh, uh, looks like the it is supposed to be a button, or it's just slow. Maybe my computer just slow. Okay, yeah. So it's I believe it's a partner, right? Brett, never heard of it. Never heard of Brett. Yeah. So okay, now the website just stuck. So let me just refresh it a while. And what caught my eye here is that below here it says uh, our fastest response is via email, which I believe that's at least a few hours, or if not a day. And if you have questions, I think the customer might have already forgotten that they actually wanted to buy a bicycle. If
Mm,
you make them wait that long, right? That's
yeah.
why here we are always encouraging some sort of like a live chat widget, even if part of it is still a human that is chatting live. Part of it can also be automated. So, for
Mhm.
example, here that the one where was it where it says like the product finder, like the product finder portion can be automated.
Uh-huh.
This run through our guided bicycle finder. It can be automated using a live chat video. So I created like a simple demo here. You can look something like this. So a good way is to call out like who you're talking to. So here obviously the bike rider, and so we're asking here, hey, can we help you to choose the right bike for you? So then when they click through on it, uh, they will go through a certain sequence, and that's where we're gonna build out the sequence right now. So there is like the tool that we have been using the past weeks. It's called ManyChat, and let's go ahead and just quickly run through a few questions that as an example of the questions that you can ask your customer. So um, here, for example, I say you can, of course, include their name to make it more personalized. Say, hey, thanks for hopping into Messenger. Um, what should we ask? Should we ask about color or
I would say something like, what kind of what kind of riding do you like to do, or how many miles do you like to ride? Something like, so people, they're a very specific type of bike. So,
how
are you a
often
leisure rider or off-road rider, or get
on
people to understand what kind of bike they're looking for? So you have make it
program?
simple selection process.
Mm, most of the time,
So what kind of rider are you? Off-roads, leisure, light sport?
do it all that, like,
And this is really key to the whole thing here. You've gotta be a master engager with your.
yep.
I mean, the asking the right question to your audience, and that begins with understanding who they are. And if you have a website, and I'm assuming you probably does a good amount of traffic, who knows? But if you're targeting the right people, you know the right questions to ask. And it's so key to getting people into that relationship building and that engagement
Mhm.
funnel. Well,
And
engagement,
here,
engagement.
what we can do here is, of course, to tag them. So that way we know what kind of rider they are. So next time in future when you have a certain message, you can give certain message to a certain group of people. So those that seldom ride on a bike, you'll send them a certain message. People that ride it all the time, send them a different message. So it'll be personalized that way. So let's just call it William Bicycles seldom, something like that. Oh, it's telling me that I've reached my tag limits here since since I'm not using Pro. But we get the idea that you can send tag, you can set up tags. So then we'll send them another second message. Um, what kind of writing do you do? Is that how you ask it? And say like off road, um, what other is it?
Leisure riding,
Leisure,
sport.
sport. Okay, yeah, just leave it for three for now. Of course, this type is buttons. You can also do a gallery, which is something that you scroll around with images. It can be interactive as well, but that's gonna take some time here, and especially since we're doing live here, my computer is also a bit slow now. So looking for
It's
those.
pretty fast for me on my end. It looks like everything's streaming very well on my end. So maybe it seems slow on your end, but I'm not
Oh,
feeling
okay.
it slowing on my end.
Yeah, it's not that slow. It's just a bit sluggish.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not annoying yet. I'll
Yeah.
let you.
Well, and then maybe a last question we'll ask is, great. What's your favorite color, right? Yeah, you started. Yeah, I guess because I'm on British spelling. And okay, so here maybe we just let them type in the answer since there's way too many colors.
Yeah. And one of the questions you could ask is, are you male or female? But those things don't matter right now. I mean,
Male or female, I believe you can get that data right away. You don't need to ask them.
yeah,
That's the good part about Messenger.
that's true.
Yeah, unless for whatever reason they identify themselves
Yeah,
wrongly on
yeah,
their Facebook profile.
yeah. Don't want to tell you. None of
Yeah,
your business.
and then after that, of course, based on the responses, then give them like the product, what the product, what do you call it? Recommendation,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, and all of this can be done inside of Messenger. So let's go ahead. Let me just refresh this, and then um, let's go through it here inside. So all of this can be done on the website, and it's not loading.
I still.
So this, of course, I'm not into the website. It is just like a little tool that I have here to like overlay that chat widget on the on his website. And for whatever reason, it's not showing up now.
Oh, okay. So the bot you just created is not showing up on the page here.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, it's a bit of a workaround
Okay, refresh.
because I do no way to access their website to
Yeah,
edit.
yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me just unshare this, and you talk for a while while I let me refresh this.
Okay. Let me, while you kind of go through that, kind of share with our audience.
Oh,
Our
I know why it was on a delay. It was on a delay, so we have to wait a while.
Okay, hang on then. Let me talk about our
Yeah,
relationship building template here real quick. Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So what we're talking about here is pretty much like just a small segment of what we're able to do for you as part of a solution set. So what Vincent is talking about is this middle section is relationship building. So once you get to the place where you are aware of, you know, these bottom sections, you know who your audience is, your messaging, your product. We assume that you already got this, but we have to make sure that's on point and that is tight and ready to go. And when you're talking to your audience and reaching the right people with the right message and the right product. But now we're at this middle section here, which is what Vincent is talking about, how to create better relationships with your audience. So and then ultimately, we help you to make sure that you, once you have these bottom two sections set up, that you have a product ecosystem. That means that, like Disney has a multitude of different products and they have repeat customers. And that's really the name of the game these days. It isn't, what can I sell next? New products or something like that. It's got to be, you have an existing clientele base that likes something and you can upsell them into the next. But again, what you're saying is just this middle section. And if you'd like to get your hands on our relationship building template, which is what you're looking at here, just go to our Facebook page and type in the keyword template, and you can get this with just some quick little tips as to how you can make that work for you better. Your and kind of an audit of your products, and taking you to a place of preparing for having a product ecosystem that's functional to the extent that when you introduce a new product, you already know your numbers and you can pre-sell it to your existing audience. So that is that.
Yep, good stuff.
Ready to get back into what you're doing here?
Yep. There was a bit of a delay, that's why we just needed to wait for a while for it to pop up.
No
But
worries.
anyway, so what your audience here when they see here and see this thing, say, hey, yeah, that makes sense. That's me. I need some help. They're gonna click on it, and then see here is that they don't even need to get off from your website. All of this happens on your website, and even though this is Messenger, they don't need to be on Messenger. They can reply straight away from your website. So let's say Saga. You can see that the flow that we did is like um, automated.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, and then
So this was delayed. So people are browsing on the site for a few minutes, then this will pop up and ask a question, right?
mhm. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So again, the main thing here is, people have a site and people browse through it, but it's kind of like, again, we're going back to a mom and pop kind of feel. When people come into the store, they spend some time browsing, and you can tell when they look up or look around that they need some help. Browser acts in the same way, where you can give people time to browse and look around. And after a certain amount of time, you can simply say something that's, how can I help you? In kind of engaging kind of way. So that's really the key here is being able to get people to engage with your product in that way or your site. And that way you can start creating those relationships by sharing with them, not selling them, something new, whether it's, and we are highly, my background is and focus in this whole, partnership is video marketing. And we are highly just charged and enthusiastic about the fact that you don't have to have a major production going on to share video. You just take your camera, your phone, do an Instagram live or an Instagram story. Just point the camera. This is what's going on today in my shop. And that's what people getting to know, like, and trust you. All right. So that's what we want you guys to get to the place of just keeping it real, getting people to engage with you, getting them to like you by just don't worry about trying to look like a YouTube production. Just be real, as I like to
Mhm.
say, keep it real. All right.
Exactly.
So are you kind of still cycling through this engagement cycle?
That's the end of the engagement. Yeah.
Cool. Good stuff. Vincent always is amazing when he comes to just creating these on the fly. Um, and, again, the main thing is to ask a compelling, engaging question up front. And then you start tweaking out these little things. I think you talked about categories in this, didn't you?
What categories?
You talked about the importance of categories a little bit.
What categories? I'm not sure what you're
You,
talking about.
when you were setting this up, you talked about putting people in categories so that you can
Oh
get
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah. Segmenting different people based on their answer. Yeah. So like in future you can use that information to talk to them in like when you remember certain things about certain people. It's like when you meet somebody and you remember certain things, then you say, hey, like that person actually understands me,
Yeah.
something like you get that also in real life, right? So it's the same thing. So it's like remembering what are your customers preferences. Like you can just be the color or their like, for example, here is what is their cycling habits. Yeah, so things like that actually help. And of course, you can tailor your messages according to um, what they actually prefer.
Cool. All righty. Good stuff. I'm always impressed with your
Mhm.
abilities to just put something together. And then just imagine being able to do this, talking to us, or just download the cheat sheet and we'll help you with how to just create this environment very quickly and easily for yourself um, or with us. So at any rate, let's move on. Appreciate you, Vincent, always knocking these
Mhm.
things out like it's no big deal. And it isn't. All right. So before we kind of call it a day, one of the things I like to share with everyone, because content, as they say, is king. But I work very big on video. So what I want to share with you now is Facebook Creator Studio. And because I love the fact that now you're able to schedule the content there. And more importantly, you're able to keep up with the statistical information related to your videos or your post as well. So let me share briefly. We've already gone through, how to create a post, the content library, and we talked a little bit about insights. We looked at the insights a little bit. Now we're looking at performance. Now we're just kind of really just getting things kicked off here, and because we're putting a concerted effort into what we're doing, we're seeing this number climb. Whereas before we were just posting content and just you know hoping that, not even hoping, we were just really just you know feeling things out. So, but now that we put it in an effort and filling in verbiage and you know doing some reaching elements, this number is starting to grow. And it's important to know this numbers because it allows you to then be able to, if you wanted to run an ad on that post, if you felt like that would be a good post to share to drive traffic or even more awareness of your brand or your product. So here is just instead of having to jump around to Facebook and even Instagram, which is also an option here where you can schedule your post. The analytics is too important to understanding how to go forward, especially when we're talking about video. And we highly recommend, as you can see here, most of the posts that we do on different sites are videos. Now, these are different sites that you can see here that are some are doing some things and some aren't. And it's just a matter of just being able to know when the right time to post, which is another aspect of this that I shared. When you post at the right time, when your audience is online, you're going to get better results. Okay. This is a result of posting inside Facebook, but it's definitely kind of not even kind of, it's about being aware when my audience in Instagram is online to drive them back to this page. So, just sharing with you some tips, especially when I do video here. Here's what's key about doing video. Okay, when you've got people watching X amount of minutes of the video, then those people, especially if you're running ads, and this is what's important. When you're running ads, then you know how to have a better ad spend because you're going to target the people that watched more of your videos. All right. So
Mhm.
again, this is a new tool. Everything pretty much we're doing here is pretty new, but we're growing up fast, and as we grow, we're going to be sharing more with you on how this all works. So it's good to know how many minutes are viewed. All this is really good statistical information. Of course, it shows you all the stats of all of your pages that you manage or own. Okay, but man, this is so powerful, especially in the sense that you can now schedule your post inside of Facebook and Instagram, and that's going to be based on when your audience is online. So that's enough about that.
Cool.
So again, we're here at Let's Talk D2C, where we come live here every Thursday to share with you how you can do a better D2C engagement, relationship building strategies with your customers. Because again, it's now at the point where it's highly competitive out there, and if you're not reaching and having those one-on-one relationships with your audience, you're basically SOL. You're way behind the, as we like to say, you got to skate to where the puck is, right, Vincent?
Exactly.
And so that's what we do here. We try to help you to skate to where the puck is. D2C is definitely, we're seeing it a growth. This is a growth industry for a good two reasons. You can deliver quality for very little uh, cost to the consumer, and that's still key right now. So
Hmm.
just make sure that you understand how this works and think about how you can move your brand forward with this strategy. So, anything else you want to talk about before we bounce out of here, Vincent? Share.
No, you shared pretty much everything you want to cover.
Yeah. Mm, good. Cool. So that's all we have for time for today, or we have for today. It wasn't very much going on in the world of D2C and some of the other news that we like to cover. But when we do discover that and share with you, that's what we like to do. But we got to the most important stuff. We share with you,
Hmm.
our speak critique, so you can get some insight, start create those creative juices, and more importantly, how to create those relationships, as Vincent's demonstrated inside of the messenger bot that's on your website. And again, how to get that content. People are always struggling with and thinking that ads is going to work or don't work. But guess what? Ads work when you create that relationship first. And that's what we're here to help you to do, is create lasting, amazing, no like and trust relationships. So again, we thank you so much for tuning in today. And per usual, this is Sandy saying ciao from Brazil.
And Vincent here, calling from Singapore. See you next week.